Muted. There we go. How are you? I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're back supporting those wonderful genius kids over at University of Prep. This time around, we are actually looking at aerospace. I'm sorry, aerodynamics and aeronautics, if you will. And we are also looking at germination as we're moving into spring. So it's got some themes in here that have real purpose in application, if you will. So the hoop plane exercise and the glider exercise, those two activities, if you will allow them to compare and contrast how two different um, uh, products, if you will, yeah, for what do I want to call it? Two different items, if you will, maker items will actually perform the same intended activity, flight, if you will, and they are designed very differently. When you are talking to them about that, get them to think critically, analytically. Let's say you start with the hoop plane, and it's a very simple, make, if you will, and they're going to see the video demonstration first, and then of course you talk to them, and then they'll put it together as you're talking to them. But encourage them to, in that first make, to pay attention to the forces that are aligned or must be aligned in order for this craft to gain flight, and that is uh, uh, lift, which counters gravity, and thrust, which counters drag. And we make reference to those four forces in that space. The video does a good job of emphasizing those forces and what they mean with respect to the craft that they're building. I use terms like fuselage, the O-rings. Be consistent in that delivery. Use use the terminology. That's how we educate them and teach them, and they love to be able to explain what's happening with respect to those different components. So after you do that, have them test their little flight and see what happens. And there's some opportunity to take that demonstration into more of an experiment, as is outlined in the electronic workbook. But let them talk to you and tell you what it is that they're seeing there. Now, the glider is, again, another opportunity for them to create a craft that must overcome or get aligned those four forces: thrust, drag, lift, gravity. And it'll be interesting though, because the design is very different. You don't have O-rings as you do with the hoop plane. You have actual wings, and they are strategically and purposely placed as they are along the fuselage. And they will have a plastic nose piece in which there's actually a propeller that will be aligned to it, okay, or be attached to it. And so again, have them compare and see, what's going on here. And I think with the video, I would suggest you do hoop plane first, because when you do glider, when I do glider in the demo video, I'm actually at the end or towards the end making reference to the hoop plane and actually showing both of them at that time. So I'm assuming you get your teams, and then you show them the videos. They run anywhere from 7.5 minutes to 10 minutes. And then from there, pull the items out of the packaging, and they're basically going to duplicate just what it is they just saw, and you'll talk to them through that and leverage your e-workbook in order to make that happen. With the germination activity, you will you will make reference to the conditions under which germination needs to take place. And so they've got to have moisture, they've got to have, the right temperature, they got to have lighting, and they have to have oxygen. Now it's interesting, they'll be growing this within their plastic baggie. So once that's sealed, the cotton has been moistened with the water that they have, and you'll see in the kit, they've got everything that they need. But they challenge them and ask them, so if we seal this up and we know we need oxygen, where's the oxygen coming from? We know oxygen, air doesn't penetrate non-porous surfaces like or materials like plastic doesn't get through there, right? And so um, test them and see, make sure that they understand they're going to wet their cotton and with water, H2. Oh, there's your oxygen. But let's see if they can come up with that and see. Anyway, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And one of the cool things is even after you all break at the end of your activity time, they will have the uh, responsibility of monitoring their germinating beans such that when the seedlings form, they will then take them from the cotton and transfer them into the soil that they've been given and the little pot with the tray that they've been given. And then we'd like for them to record and continue to watch what's happening with their plant until the next time you meet and they can talk about what they found. All right. Thank you. Go get those geniuses.